Stardate 3818.951. The Alexandria has resumed patrolling of the sector. Our orders for the Hugora sector are to maximize signals intelligence and counter infiltration footprint by the Cardassians. We have been instructed to maintain the presence in this sector, and as part of that mandate, I've been instructed to maintain the flight for all personnel. To this effect, I have assigned flight control ops to place all flight-capable personnel on a rotation schedule to ensure that everybody is up to their certification in small craft. As we speak, armistice negotiations are proceeding with the Cardassians, but still we have been instructed to maintain a presence. If any provocation by the Cardassians, we are to confront it and deal with it as appropriate.
Okay.
Taking according to orders of this period of relative peace to maintain survey and survey operations in the sector.
Okay. Go ahead.
Also, we have been instructed that the USS Essex will rendezvous with us at Brechtian and supply sensor drones to outfit all of our shuttlecraft.
So, to translate a little bit of this technobabble, there is a it's very close to the Cardassian border, and this is a very thick nebula called, I believe, the Hugora Nebula, and in order to kind of make sure that all the pickets are manned at this time, the TLDR of all that is that the ship is being asked to kind of be an aircraft carrier and send out little pickets. And so each of the shuttlecraft finds itself departing, and packed into the back hatch is a giant spool of wires that will become a sensor drogue once it's at a safe distance away from the ship, and it'll drag this behind the shuttle like a net. And so there'll be a lot of flying in the upcoming days, or that's what you think, at least. So I was thinking that I was thinking of a way of kind of choreographing this to get everyone on camera sort of in turn to set this up, but I'm wondering if maybe we should just camera in with Tuck and Asimov bantering inside the cockpit of a shuttlecraft, and maybe that's a good place to start.
Well, I'm not an Antorian engineer, but I'm just a doctor. But when was the last time you were flight tested?
The last time I was flight tested?
Yeah, when was the last time you passed your flight protocol?
I think on the trip to the planet the other day, where I expertly piloted the entire ship from point A to point B.
Good.
How about yourself?
No, not in a long time. But
sure
either way, I can
things?
fly better than you can. That's for sure. We'll have to do that. We'll have to have a flight off.
A flight off? You care to have a little wager?
Yes, wager.
Huh. I suppose we could somehow take a couple shuttlecraft out without the captain knowing, and
would that be easy to do? We may have to start with that first. I bet I can get a shuttle off without the captain knowing before you can.
Oh, you're on. You're on. But just don't crash us into anything, okay?
No, no.
You don't mind if I watch over your shoulder, do you?
Actually, I do.
So I peer over just a little bit.
There's something about the pheromones of the Andorian that don't set well with my digestive system.
So in a shuttle cockpit, there are only two stations, and one of them is the helm, and that covers. Sorry, there's a pilot's seat which covers helm and navigation, and then the other one is an operations seat, which is internal systems, sensors, and tactical, if it indeed had weapons. I will leave it up to the captain whether he wants the shuttles to be armed with phasers.
That's interesting. I don't know, because it's technically a peace mission, so I don't know if I don't know.
Okay.
What do you guys think? I'm thinking classic shuttles don't have phasers, but I don't know.
Mm-mm. Yeah, I wouldn't think we would.
Okay. So
would we?
I'm going to telegraph that this is so the mission is going to start with only 3 threat in the pool because it's sort of just an everyday run-of-the-mill sort of a situation. It shouldn't be a big deal right now. There's nothing big's going on.
Yeah, and because I really want to see how Tuck flies and to make fun of him with every possible move. I'm gonna let him fly this thing. So I'm gonna be at the operations panel.
Okay.
So what's the name of this shuttle? Because we said famous astrophysicists or something like that. Is it the Tyson, like Neil deGrasse Tyson?
Sure, that would work.
But Asimov has taken a call on it, the Mike.
The Mike.
The Mike Tyson, yeah.
Just the Mike.
The Mike. And who is this Mike you speak of, Andorian?
Someone in Earth history. They have some pretty interesting history. And interesting beverages, too. This coffee, have you tried it? Delicious.
That there is a slight stimulant in that beverage.
That's why I have to drink a lot of it. You have to drink an awful lot of it to really stay awake. High metabolism,
Okay. High metabolism. Okay, let me find my character sheet. Make sure I got all my stuff up to snuff here.
Yeah, and then so this we pan in through the shuttle window, and we note we note the name of the shuttle, and we get some exposition about what the context here is, and she's carrying a streamer behind her. There's a little wisps of nebula that are kind of tracing about, and so there's sort of every temptation to do some fancy business, because I'm sure it would disturb the nebula gases in a like swishing around a solute solvent. A solute in a solution. You get that thing from the Voyager theme song.
Yeah.
It would look real cool. But just as this banter sort of escalates to the point where maybe you might have the temptation to grab the helm, and you do sink into the chair, Tuck. There is an automated warning blip on the console that begins to chirp.
I'm going to assess what that blip is.
Okay.
Obtain information on this blip.
so the
warning blips. Got to know what they mean.
So the navigational sensors are picking up something it's coming in at a relativistic sublight velocity, kind of into your region, and it's going to pass very close, and it's sort of just picked up this whatever it is.
Asimov, we have incoming. I'm going to pilot giving this plenty of room to pass? Does it appear to be random, or is it moving about? I mean, is it as if it's being piloted?
That would require a task.
Okay. All right. What kind of task, sir?
Why don't you fly the ship?
I am flying the ship. I'm trying to avoid whatever this is.
So sensor sweep is...
Does sound like a sensor sweep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that is there. It is. There's the default paradigm
Okay.
for sensor sweep.
Okay. Okay.
So
Here
yeah,
we go.
that would be a difficulty 1 task.
Okay.
If you want to hit it from your chair in the helm console, that would require an override because the controls are all kind of set up for Asimov in the other seat to take care of it. But there is such a thing. You know, any console on a starship can do anything. It's just a matter of the difficulty going up a bit.
Asimov, I'll ask Asimov then as I pilot, see if you can identify whether this is a piloted incoming or debris.
Excellent idea, Captain. And so I'm going to be doing I believe this is a reason plus science and then sensors plus science. Is that the idea? I
Yes.
forget which helps what.
So the ship
Right.
is the 1 die, is the sensors and science, and I've got the shuttle stats over here, which are abysmal.
Right. Right. It's 5 plus 0, so that's 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Great. And then, so then myself, I can add reason plus science. Is that
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Okay.
You roll yours first, and if you succeed, we roll 1 die, looking for 5 or less, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I gotcha. All right, so reason plus science would be my.
Yeah.
All right. Then forgive me while I have to get my character sheet up, because unlike Sam, I do not have 12 monitors.
Yeah, when you talked about going for the 3rd, I was like,
Come on, he might be watching. Let's not make fun of him. So let's see. Reason plus science is 9. So I'm highlighting reason, if I recall correctly, right? I'm highlighting science.
Yes.
I'm roll.
Check
No
the number
complication.
of dice. Yeah.
And that is task roll, right? Is number of dice?
Yes, you select there, and then you hit the Star Trek triangle.
So that's a default 2, right?
Default 2, yeah, unless
Yeah.
you want to add more threat to the pool.
constantly,
Yeah,
constantly watching would apply here, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
I would mention.
Constantly watching.
It's a talent. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have it.
Okay.
I don't. So let's see. I'm gonna be really kind of be a bit of a show off in this attempt. So I'm gonna have a threat to the pool.
Okay.
Really, just kind of do a little one-upmanship. So I'm gonna add a threat to the pool so I can roll 3 dice.
Okay. So
All
so the
right.
sensor console, there's you kind of go to the active pings. This is pretty close to the Cardassian border, and
Right.
there's every chance that you could wake some beast lurking in the nebula, but you'll
Absolutely.
have more information.
All right. So so that's what I got. So I've got reason, science, no complication range, and 3. And I don't think I have any focuses for this particular one. So let's go ahead and roll these bad boys.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
What happened?
So that's 2 successes, and I'm just going to roll the plain d20 for
Right on.
the ship, and that is a 14, so it does not.
Okay. I am going to let that threat just ride. I'm going to let that complication ride, and
Oh, that's right.
just
that is a
just
zero
let it
with,
be threat. So, you do generate 2 momentum And I'm going to describe basic success. This is sort of the fancy official way to do a task. So the question was, is it piloted? And the answer is that there is some intent to this particular alert that's coming towards you. It appears to be directed. And then also a second thing that you notice is that there's also on a completely different vector another incoming piece of stuff.
Gotcha. So just like out of character as far as the mechanics are concerned, because I was reading this today. So
Yeah.
just so I understand what we're doing here. Anytime I'm doing some kind of action like in the ship or with the ship,
Mm-hmm.
as it sounds like. So I'm rolling my own stats first. Is that the idea? And then we're using the ships.
Assists you.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do it in like iteratively like that. I mean, like any assist, the assist die, successes on the assist die will only count if you roll some successes yourself.
Right. Okay.
But the ship die is always rolled, so that means the ship die can always complicate and so on.
Okay, I gotcha. Right. All right. So what I'm finding out is based on those successes. That's the idea.
Mm-hmm.
Like the net successes. Okay. Right on. Huh.
And you could spend any extra momentum that you want to get further information from the.
Right.
To ask
And in fact,
questions.
I'm gonna complicate. I'm gonna describe this a little bit more. There appear to be two kind of energized seeking instruments which are coming towards the shuttlecraft right now. They're both little scale 1 somethings, so they're of a similar size to the shuttle.
I don't know what the hell that is.
I'm going to. My goal right now would
Yep.
be to kick this shuttlecraft into high gear and start some evasive maneuvers. Partially, I want to do this in such a way that I'm evasive, but also to make tech bounce around as much as possible.
Okay, so keep that in mind as you could inquire some more with like based on the scan, but just hearing the basics of what you've discovered.
Now, I'm gonna let Tech do his job while I just toss him around and try to get away from these targets.
Whoa!
So I'm gonna roll it a couple of times. I'm gonna get behind her. If there's debris floating out here, I'll try to use debris. This will not be a fly casual situation. Now, you guys have changed the character sheets, it looks like, slightly since the last time I was in here.
Oh yes. There was a.
So
sheet.
you have sabotaged me with new character sheets. So let me take a look here and see.
Okay. So, Kitek, did you have any momentum spends following that?
Yeah, no, I would spend at least another momentum trying to figure out anything else about these signals.
Okay. They are Cardassian in origin, and from the briefings that you've kind of attended throughout the war, they are likely to be some of these unmanned terror weapons that the Cardassians have been kind of testing over the course of the war, a bit like V2 rockets.
Oh. This is not good. This is not good, Doctor. This is not good.
Something told me it was not when I saw multiple blips show up on screen.
Yeah, but these are missiles. These are missiles. These could take us right down.
Buckle up.
All right, yeah. But yeah, while he's trying to do some fancy flying, I am calling the ship now.
Very good.
I'm only flying this sucker, so.
Okay, so right now these are at extreme range.
Okay.
So that makes them 3 zones away. So keep that in mind.
Okay.
And then the second thing that I mentioned, which
Are
is,
they coming from two different directions, like
well,
this here?
the other thing, see, that's the thing, is that there's I mentioned that there was these two seeking things,
Thanks,
and
man.
then there's just this random other piece of space garbage which is floating
Yeah.
away,
I want to.
which is at long range.
Okay. Um, but all from the same area. So we have two blips coming at us and something leaving that area. Are they blips from different locations?
So
something leaving the.
So here's the two. Here's these two Cardassian missiles.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm looking at. I'm not looking at the right screen.
Oh, there we
Okay.
go.
I'm sorry. I was on roll 20. Okay.
And then here's this piece of debris.
The ping is the debris.
Mm-hmm.
And they're
is
coming.
that the
Yeah.
thing?
So I want to put the debris between us and those.
That can be done. And in fact, that you could just do that by using the impulse engines without any really fancy flying.
Okay, I'll do that, and then but just at the last minute, I want to shake the ship best I can, just to throw Tuck about a little bit, or
Okay.
to Tech about a little bit.
Okay,
Don't you know where the inertial dampers are? Did you turn them off? What are you doing?
so so as you get closer to it, it does look like there's little fragmentary micrometeoroids and so on. So it will end up being difficulty 1, flying up close to it to use it as cover.
Okay, and that's what I will do. Okay, now let's go back to my character sheet. Difficulty 1. Let me see here. Impulse, control con, assisted by engines con. So control con. Let me get back to my character sheet. Where did he go? Took. Okay, got to get used to roll 20 again here. Okay, so control and con. Control
You should be
and
able
con.
to highlight those.
There is no complication range, correct? So I leave that on 1. Task difficulty is a 1. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. So failure, I should describe failure will be hitting the micrometeoroids and taking some damage.
Okay, as long as I turn the passenger side, that damage. And where is? I do not see where I can highlight. Okay, so I do have a focus, which is small craft, but there's no way to highlight that here.
Yeah, it says under in the
Just
dice
say yes.
roller. It says focus used. Yes.
Focus use. There's a little small craft. No, I don't see. Oh, use.
No, it should under the dice roller just appear to the.
Oh yes, I'm sorry. It's the first one.
It says
not
no.
the last
Yes.
one. Okay.
Yes.
All right, so here we go. And I think this is a 1 difficulty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I will throw a little more threat in the pool and get a 3rd die.
All right.
Okay, and then I don't see here where I pick my dice. This is different than last.
It says task roll. The 3rd line says focus use,
Okay.
complication range, task roll, and then it says 1 through 5.
Okay, so it's three task roll. Complication then is difficulty. Is that?
Complication
is
is the complication range. So,
Right.
for example,
Which is 1.
If things were and it could get worse, but
So where is the difficulty here? Oh, it doesn't matter, does it?
It's not.
Okay,
It's not.
okay. Now, which one do I click to roll on this? Because this, again, I don't see a...
Where it says task roll, you'll see the Star Trek symbol right next to it. Yeah.
Okay. So control and con are highlighted. I've got yes, complication range of 1. I'm rolling 3 dice, and here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to kill us.
And Aloy, if you can hit the ship assist.
Woo! Nice.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, my.
Oh well, no, it's a 2. No.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is in the errata that the con department of shuttles is 1. I don't know how I feel about that.
Still, it's a success. I mean,
Yes.
it's a
So it's 2
so it's a
momentum to the
regular
pool.
success. Yeah.
And I think you described momentum spend where you wanted to rock the ship violently.
Yeah, I want to give Tech a little goose, so to speak.
Okay.
Hang on, that's 4 successes. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is.
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
'Cause
Sorry. Yep.
Yeah.
Pardon me.
It's 4 successes, and he takes 1 for the test, so it's 3 momentum to the pool.
Yeah. So it sounds like maybe create advantage, just kind of some erratic maneuvering.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So these things are going to. They're going to move also, and they're going to bear down one of them, because this is how it works. Is one thing takes an action out there, and in fact, because they're scale 1, they only get to take 1 action. So one of them is going to move up to close range, so 1 zone away from y'all. Right.
Okay.
And so you can kind of see the shape of it. So there's this glowing sort of energized photon warhead, which is held in a cradle, and then there's kind of a the Cardassian brown of a hull behind it. So now it goes back to Asimov at the other console, who I heard maybe was going to try and contact the ship.
I am.
Okay. There is no reason for that to be any more difficult. That's. I think I'm going to create problem and make it difficulty 1, however, because of the rocking, because of the jostling in the ship.
I gotcha. Okay.
So there's hailing frequencies open, and I'll embiggen that. There. Control and engineer.
Right, exactly. Okay. Well, in that case, that shouldn't be too hard. I'm just glaring at Tuck the whole time. Would you hold this thing still? I thought you said you could.
Ooh. Ooh.
And just control and engineering. I'm not buying anything. I'm buying any other dice. I'm just like calling the. Oh, for the love of God, what's the name of our ship?
Alexandria.
Alexandria. I totally. I'm so jostled. I can't remember the name of my own ship.
Coffee. You spilled your coffee in your lap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, there we go. That was the goal.
Oh, and
Almost
assist.
Here.
Oh, another success. Excellent. So that's
How are there 2 tasks?
4
Oh,
successes again. 4 successes again.
Okay, so 3 to the pool. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. On the bridge of the Alexandria, I'm just going to call it difficulty 0. Captain Santos is there on the bridge, and there's so there's an incoming distress shuttle in distress call.
Put it through.
And there's Asimov with a little bit of coffee in his mustache, perhaps.
No mustache. Captain Santos.
Mr. Asimov.
This is the Tyson calling in. Yeah, we've discovered a few Cardassian photonic weapons out here. Seems to be unmanned probes, but they are bearing down on us. I'm not sure if there's any more in the vicinity, but it's too bad these shuttles don't have phasers. We could take them out. I told you that was madness.
Are you under attack by these weapons?
It's undetermined yet whether they've actually locked onto our signal, but they do seem to be coming relatively fast. I'm not 100% sure if they're just sent out aimlessly or whether they're actually going to start to lock on to our position. I imagine they probably will.
Yes, maintain evasive action will make best speed to get to you. Mr. Thompson, how far to the Tyson?
At warp 9, about 3 minutes, sir.
Make it so. Best speed. Hang on, Mr. Asimov and Tuk. We'll be there in 3 minutes.
We will, Captain, if the doctor doesn't kill us first. Out. Just our screen goes blank.
Had to call the captain, did you? We can handle this.
There's no phasers on the ship. Sooner or later, these things will take us out.
Have some faith. Have some faith.
So, the other one of these is just going to maneuver, and so now it's at long range, so it's 2 zones away.
Alrighty. And I'm trying to analyze whether these things are really locking onto us or not.
Okay.
Yes, it would be nice to know. Maybe I can lead the closest one into the other one.
You think you're that good? Can you just manage to avoid them?
That's the goal right now. But if it locks on, we have to put it on. We have to put it in position. We may have to put it in position.
Okay. So.
Damn it, Chuck! You're a doctor, not a flight instructor.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I should be in sick bay. Damn this captain putting me on a mission like this.
I'm sure he can transport you off the shuttle without a problem. Anyhow.
So, it's back to the top of the round, and so which of you would like to kind of do stuff?
Well, I would like to know if that is locking on. Tech, can you tell?
Yeah, I'm trying to do some kind of
I'd rather
analysis
get a
of
jump
the
start
flight
on this
ladder.
thing.
Okay.
Do we have one question just out of character? Do we have photographic capabilities? We can take pictures of these as evidence as they're coming in on us.
The sensors are in this kind of a situation. Once you get into an alert status.
Yeah, it automatically.
Yeah, the sensors start logging.
That's what I thought, but okay.
And I should, and that's one thing I should mention is that there are minor actions in space combat, but they're basically switch seats, or shields up. And I'm gonna presume that you guys did the ladder.
Shields up. I don't know, Tech. Did you turn the shields up?
Yeah, about like 2 seconds after you took the flight controls. Way before this happened.
Good. Protocol, as usual. SOP.
I'm going to attempt to scan these things for any kind of weakness, like see if there's something that I can determine with the sensors, if there's some kind of analysis I can figure out in terms of their flight patterns.
Weakness, and it's coming. It will likely be there
It's
it is.
control science, I believe. I mean, I'm trying to combine this with an analysis to see whether they're really locking onto us or not, but
Indeed,
maybe
it is
I can
control science.
All right, that's my hope, and I'm gonna spend a couple momentum doing this too, because I really am not in the mood to get taken out by an unmanned Cardassian probe.
So by 2 dice.
Yeah.
Okay, so 1, and then the second dice will cost 2.
Right. Yeah. Sure.
Okay.
Get rid of that momentum. Get it off the board. We don't want it. So I'm really taking my time and doing some kind of analysis on this thing. So let's see.
Oh, nice. We're on a roll. That's 5 successes on that roll.
Okay, so with that in mind, that's all in the pool, actually.
Sorry, it's 4 momentum then, because it was difficulty 1. So
this one is difficulty 1. Pardon me. Yes.
Yeah, right. I thought it was 0 then, and I just lifted on my sight and saw it. It was like...
3, 4. Okay. So I believe so. Basic success. The question was, are they really coming for you? They're certainly coming for something, right? Either you or this piece of debris, one of the above.
Tech, are those things coming for us or the debris? Can't you figure that out?
I'm trying to figure that out. If you manage to keep the ship somewhat stable, that would be great.
Because I need to get away from this thing if they're coming to this.
And weakness-wise, I'm going to try to see if I can spend any more momentum for information.
Yeah.
And spend like maybe a couple more momentum, really just like see if I get any more information on like what would be a weakness, how we can get away from these things, or how we can actually avert them.
So their weakness is that, like you, they are small and they do not generate much power at all. And in fact, this one that's nearer is it kind of rushed too fast, and in fact is out of power right now. It has no power. But they are just as brittle as the shuttlecraft. Let me see what else I can tell you. It is likely that they are locked onto the power signature of the ship. It is likely that they're either reading the radiation from the very small fusion reactor in the shuttle, or they are reading the neutrino flux from something else. But it's definitely an emissions-based tracking.
Tuck, shut everything down.
How am I going to pilot this thing with no power?
You're not. We're going to see if these things start to miss us once we disappear.
All right. I'm going to take... This is on you if we end up dead. And I power down.
It's okay. If there's an afterlife, I'll stand trial.
You will.
Okay.
And I will kill all power. As close, not as close, but again, around this debris that I put between us.
Okay. So that will be a create advantage. So you guys are looking to create a trait. And it's that... well, first of all, these things need to do stuff. One of them needs to do stuff. This one is going to work on regaining some power. And you can tell that it's recharging its electroplasma system, the nearer one, and then it's to you, Tuck. You can kind of see it's looming and getting more prepared and ready to go. So then, to you, Tuck, in the pilot seat, you will have to reach over into the manual override controls to kind of make this happen from your console, which will increase the difficulty to 3.
Okay. And I will take 3 of the... Well, actually, I'll spend 3 momentum for 2 more dice.
Roger.
To make this happen. And this is then... this is to shut down the engines? Is that what you're telling me?
Well, it's to
shut everything down.
Yeah, it's to create an advantage, which is, black.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, I gotcha. Okay.
Because traits, they mean something.
Yep. Okay. All right. And you want me to make I'm trying to find my character sheet. Where is my... there we go.
If you have 3 monitors, like saying you can pop it out of the D20 and put it in a corner, but
I don't. I have one 19-inch monitor.
Real estate. No, so that's not going to work. Yeah.
I have one very small monitor with a lot of stuff crammed on it here.
Remind
Okay.
me maybe I should ship you one then from the there's a property surplus for the university here, so you can get them for like $20.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
All right, so I've got so we're making a control con at difficulty 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, focus used, yes, and I am rolling actually 3 dice. I bought 2.
4,
Here we go.
4.
Sorry.
4. If you're
4. I'm sorry. 4 dice.
We cool.
Okay, 4 dice. Here we go. There we go. Hopefully that came off.
And the ship die, which will be engineering plus structure.
Okay, so it's out of 10, and here we go. 19. Woof, almost roll a complication there.
So basic success. The trade is in play. Does it work? Okay. This far one, it resumes a leisurely course. So it just rendezvous with the other one that recharged, and just as the turn rolls around, the Alexandria arrives. So Captain Santos, any of you guys in any vessel, what is your action?
Hmm.
Trying to be very quiet.
So yeah, ready is you can just wait. There is a pass.
I'm passing.
Okay.
Crossing my fingers, trying to cross my antenna.
All right. So there's this long, lingering moment where it like these weapons, the little photonic energized warhead in them remains. It keeps on glowing all day long. Like it never stops. And what happens is that they just they peer. They come. Sorry. Let me think about this. They are coming closer. They're gonna come closer. The thing about it's and this is me as the game master trying to figure this out. I don't know how to move as a group in this combat system yet. So they're gonna move together and they want to really sniff, and they get into the same zone as you guys now. And so they're right on top of you. What's next?
So I think Santos will say we'll give the order transporter room. Get ready to beam the crew of the Tyson aboard and stand by to raise shields as soon as you do that. Are we in range?
You're at long range right now, so you'll need to be at medium. You're 2 zones away, and you'll need to be in an adjacent zone to transport.
Okay, so Mr. Thompson, get us as close as you can.
Okay. So basically, the second one, then also the way this initiative system works, it looks like the second one has to now move into the zone with you guys. And they're sniffing around. They're sniffing around, and now it's back to Starfleet.
I am not doing a darn thing. I'm afraid
Did Took do anything? Because we got what 3 PC slots or?
So I mean, I'll give you guys Thompson.
Oh, it's here you go. That was 1 round us, 1 the first missile, then us, then the second missile. Is that how we're doing it?
Yes.
Okay, because
Yes.
I wasn't aware if the round had cycled over. Or
Yeah, so
we're still in the first round.
Yeah. So the Alexandria arrives at the top of the next of this in the beginning of this new round.
I'm going to say, like, Ensign Ybarra beams us the hell off the shuttle.
Okay. So
in Transporter Room 3.
So yeah, you can essentially you can transmit your coordinates, just kind of to prepare the transport and make sure it goes off kind of super clean. And so that would be it'd be a difficulty 0 task, but then you can create advantage on it. And so I like the way that action is described. That's what it seems like. Yeah, if you follow.
I'm just not sure if I want to be transported.
So your hand lingers over the console, as you get ready to transmit the coordinates, and you think about whether you think twice about it.
God, dead is dead. I just whack the console.
Okay.
Nice.
Beep. So everything is set up for the transport.
I'm rolling my eyes. Andorians.
So back aboard the Alexandria, everything's ready to go for the transport, and I believe that this is so just as the command to energize is sort of getting ready to be made, they start to move off. They then kind of start going on their merry way.
We're good, Captain. We're good. It's okay.
Belay that order. Is Danera? I'll say Danera. Keep eyes on those power signatures. Get me a projected course Uh, is there anything else nearby? Sensors?
So there's this debris field, which is a piece of it is here, and there's kind of minor components of this. And here's the thing. As kind of I propose that the scene is sort of complete, and that the concluding moment is that this piece of debris tumbles over on itself, and you see on the far side of it an SS registry in Earth standard language, and it is the SS New Zealand.
Interesting. Who is catching this on the screen? Is it everybody, or
I imagine,
or this is just for the camera, right?
No. Tuck and I imagine that Tuck and Asimov behold this, as the moment kind of passes.
Okay.
That's an Earth ship, not a Federation ship, or is that a
pre-Federation?
SS
pre-Federation? Wow.
New Zealand.
Of course, there's a famous vessel with that designation, slightly earlier vintage, the SS Botany Bay.
Interesting. So somebody has obviously been a victim of these Cardassian devices before.
Well, we need to talk to the captain about this.
Yep.
Okay. So I propose flowing the scene to where you guys end up speaking to one another. So that could be Captain Santos meeting you in the shuttle bay.
Yep. Cut to commercial. Back on shuttle
or it could
bay.
be in the ready room. It could be over refreshments. It could be in the briefing room. Up to you.
I think it's over refreshments because I'm going to grab another cup of real coffee. So, and I can't imagine the captain meeting anybody in the shuttle bay. That just doesn't seem very Star Trek. So,
I think the ready room. I think he summons them to the ready room.
I'll be back in 1 second, fellas. So we'll think about this, but for the next scene. You know, it's just like a real TV show. You got a bathroom break.
Yeah.
Brought to you by Tide.
Hang on, we'll be back in a second too.
Yeah, that's cool. So there's one of those sets that they never build, which is there's a boarding area for shuttle. I imagine there's something like an airport, like a little tiny airport, next to every shuttle bay. And, nobody ever sees it, but it must exist.
Yeah, there's definitely a control booth, and so like Battlestar Galactica, there was always a crew running around working on the like an airport.
Oh, what I mean, you're talking about the deck crew. Yeah, that's an
deck crew.
Yeah. And if there was gonna be, that's something that I don't know how it could get included. With. Okay, so I'm gonna refamiliarize myself with your guys' value. That's.
Well, mine had changed since we talked about them, and I had changed them, but I don't know. Got an update of let me see on I thought I sent you my latest character when I had changed them to make sure they were a little more doable, but now I'm not certain
if this looks familiar to you. Okay, because that's in Discord.
Oh, let me see what you've got.
That's my GM screen.
It's loading. Alexandria. Mine is the see, so let me double check mine because I think I updated them to something that would after we had our conversations, I thought I had updated them to something. I have doctors preserve life, not take it. Information before action.
Okay.
Which I kind of did in this last scene. individuals before ideologies, careful and diligent work at all times. I'm not even certain if that's. Yeah, I think that's the last ones I came up with.
Those are much more refined. They do sound.
Yeah.
So, it's the edit privileges are open for that now.
Yeah, I didn't. I did this before we started our campaign. I guess I had not sent you an update of this sheet, and then we just never got to the values. Really, I don't think last game. Let me double check though what you've got here.
It's close. Some things are close, but the ones that you just read are much more usable, basically.
Yeah, I tried to make them simple and something that could be challenged or used, right?
So let's see.
So how do I edit? I just click on it to edit it, or you're editing it?
You can edit those cells. You can.
Okay.
It's public edit.
Oh, good. Okay, so I've got doctors preserve life, not take it.
So there's 4 threat to the pool, and we are in the ready room. Is that true?
Sounds good.
Yeah. I think he's standing because Santos wants to be near the bridge while we figure this out. I figured he's turned over command to Nera, probably, and he's given instructions that signals have to be monitored and trajectories plotted for those power signatures and keep active scanning in case Cardassians show up. So I think that's the standing order, right? So he doesn't want to be far away.
Okay.
Right on. So I imagine at this point, like K-Tech Asimov is going up to the replicator before we start sitting down and says, donut shop blend, light and sweet. waits for his cup to materialize. Very good. Very good. Kind of leisurely sits down at the converse table. A little bit too relaxed looking.
Okay. So I imagine that this the scene would likely begin on TV. Never mind. You know what? Start the scene however you guys like.
So I'll say. So you're telling me the scans never revealed the ship? These things came out of empty space. There's no vessel behind them?
No, sir. No, sir, Captain. There was a blip that showed up initially first, then these 2 blips, the two missiles, and then the other blip left in the opposite direction. So we did have an initial blip on the alert before these 2 missiles. Did I understand your question correctly, Captain?
Yep.
Yes. So Sakel is here with us, right?
Yeah, I imagine.
Are we using him or?
I mean, or he can just hold the ship down. I think maybe that might make more sense.
Hold the ship down, Sakel.
Sure.
Good Vulcan.
So
the best Vulcan is a quiet Vulcan.
Amen.
What do we know of these missiles?
They seem to be rather standard Cardassian design, unmanned, photonic warheads. I recommend that we try to get at least one of them. Maybe if we can beam the warhead off of one of these missiles, we should be able to get the rest of the missile on board. It's possible we could even disable the warhead itself, because having some kind of evidence of these sort of devices would be relatively helpful, I believe, in negotiation, because the Cardassians they'll deny it. They tend to deny everything.
Evidence would be nice, and so would the wreckage of the SS New Zealand. It appears to me, Captain, if I may, I think they are defending, or why here are they so defensive of this space?
So we're theorizing that these missiles are here active in some sort of patrol or uh, guarding this area of the wreckage. I mean, this New Zealand seems to be an ancient vessel.
Yeah, it's a vessel from your Earth, Captain.
Yes, yes.
I don't know all the history, but I was able to see that a 23rd century vessel of some import managed to intercept another one of these devices at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But the crew,
Yes.
the crew turned out to be problematic, and were dropped off on City Alpha 6, I believe. But the ships are relatively unmanned in flight.
Hmm.
So, I mean, we were able to determine that they were locking onto our power signatures and turn it off, but clearly a ship like that wouldn't be able to. So,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, they
were victims of this defensive matrix, I think, some kind of defensive.
But surprisingly, the doctor does raise a good question. What are they defending?
Yes. Are they keeping watch over the debris, or did the New Zealand stumble onto this this defense network guarding something else? And not only that, but when was the New Zealand struck? I mean, is this event recent? I think I want our ops department to analyze. Maybe looking at the debris pattern, they can estimate how long ago was their destruction, right? Or if these fragments are clustered together, if they're spreading apart, maybe some sort of.
Well, when was the New Zealand last heard from? Maybe we can pull that up on the computers.
Yes, let's do that.
What was the New Zealand? What was its mission? When did it launch?
Okay. So I believe that's an insight and command test.
Okay. Do you want me to do it, or should we nominate somebody more gifted at computers?
You guys are chatting in the ready room, and then somebody decides to ask Majel a question.
Nice.
And you gotta roll dice to ask Majel questions.
Nice.
All right, so I got an insight of 9 and a command of 5, so it's not too bad. I think I want to do this search myself, but if Took assists or somebody assists, I don't know if you can have the computer assist plus.
So I imagine that the second assist, like any second assist, would increase complication range by 1.
So it sounds interesting.
But I think as far as the nature of the assist, I was reading the rules, and it sounds like you kind of just lean over someone's shoulder and you just say what you're doing. And it defaults to being an assist. Like the GM can veto it, but you just kind of describe how you're helping. And no mechanical invocation really, and you kind of throw a d20.
Fascinating. Very old school.
Yeah.
Nice. So let's see. We got 4 threat on the board. I'm thinking I'm going to buy a third die with a threat. So add 1 to the pool.
Okay.
And I don't really have a focus. I do have a starship talent, but I think that only applies to weakness. But the starship talent is called Starship Expert.
That essentially gives you a bonus momentum anytime you are asking a question about a ship, anytime you're kind of thinking about a ship. And
there you go.
The bonus momentum, I believe, it can be used for 2 things. I think it can be used for obtain information, or it can be used as half of an advantage. It can be paid towards an advantage.
Correct.
The ship will assist with structure and computers plus command.
All right. So let's roll those 3. I have no focus, and yeah.
Okay.
Let's see how this goes. Inside command. Here we go.
Okay.
Oh, nice. 3 successes. Plus, I get 1 momentum from my talent.
Ooh.
What's the ship rolling? Should I roll the ship as well?
Ship
How
is
about that? I don't know.
Oh,
Yep,
there you
sure.
go.
There you go.
Excellent.
computers and command.
That is
Okay.
another success.
Okay. So what did you ask Michelle?
I'm asking Michelle, what is the recorded mission of the New Zealand, and when was it last contacted?
Okay. So basic success. How many successes? Sorry, pardon me. Give me
5.
Okay. Wow.
Look like 5, I think.
That's 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 successes.
4. I'm sorry, 4. Yeah.
Okay, and then
Oh, I'm sorry, and one momentum from my
Right.
talent. That
Oh,
is
yeah.
5. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
watch that. Bang. Made that special. Okay. So so Michelle comes back and she says, the SS New Zealand was launched in November of 2173 from Baikonur Cosmodrome with a mission of unspecified colonization at the best suited planet that it found upon its course on a sublight trajectory, according to and yeah, that's where she kind of stops. And then Tuck,
So
did you?
basically
Sorry, go ahead.
basically a colony ship to orders to colonize the first available planet. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Sounds like the human version of the Borg. Computer.
And we
So we can spin and repeat
Mhm.
with momentum
Yep,
here,
this is
Eloy, to get
it's
more
the quiz
information.
time. Yep.
yeah, it's
And we have,
we got
I think, 4 momentum to do this with, right?
Yeah, and if you guys want to also ask questions, we can kind of bend the task rule, and just throw your die in, and keep asking questions.
Well, we know what it was called. We know when it launched. We know what its mission was. Obviously, it was never heard from again. So okay, let's. And how do I cast a die for this? My character sheet. This is. Whoops. Where is it again? Character sheet. This would be. Is this insight? Is that what you?
Mm-hmm.
Where am I at here? Insight and.
I'm going to propose that at this point, as the computer starts to unload, it kind of changes over to reason, because there's more of an analysis component that
Gotcha.
starts to come into play.
Okay, so now I'm thinking about asking a question about security. Basically, my goal would be, how often would the New Zealand had an automatic signal to what am I trying to say here?
Did it have a black box, a transponder?
Right, thank you. But that would probably be under what, engineering?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Probably isn't under surgery, Tuck.
No. Complication range is 1, right? Difficulty is 1. Is that correct?
Just roll 1 die. Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, just
Yep.
some,
No
this is
focus.
an assist. Yeah.
Did it work? Did it work? Oh no! Don't tell me.
Okay. So Majel is kind of stymied by your kind of difficulty.
I'm not surprised, because I couldn't even spit out the question.
But she does kind of respond that schematics of contemporary vessels indicate that there was a rudimentary transponder attached to them, as well as an automated distress beacon if the ship arrived in any trouble.
Is this sector? Does this correspond to the expected trajectory of the? Like, is it wildly off course, or is it roughly in the area which it should have been traveling, based on the trajectory that she already said
The
it had?
SS New Zealand proceeded along its trajectory for approximately 25 years longer than anticipated it to arrive at this location.
Asimov is just kind of like watching these two fumble around in questions, kind of waiting his turn.
Mr. Asimov, you have any suggestions?
I don't know if it's going to be a separate roll outside as momentum spends.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
The computer.
Beep boop.
Given launch date of SS New Zealand and estimated speed, calculate the most reasonable or most likely trajectory of New Zealand to reach the current point in space where the debris field was encountered. Take into account the known yield of Cardassian photonic warheads, and by an analysis of the debris pattern, can you give us a estimate of when the New Zealand arrived here and when it was destroyed?
Okay.
Assuming that a photonic warhead of Cardassian origin impacted with the ship.
Oh, well, that's a quality question for Majel. I think that's worthy of another one die into the pool.
That was very Star Trek too, Ivan. Very nice.
Her answer.
Well, he's just watching the doctor going, "Gee, are you kidding me?"
Her answer is the vector of the current debris field is not consistent with original planned trajectory of SS New Zealand. Further, and this is the interesting. Further, debris field is inconsistent with a photonic impact.
Huh. Interesting. So what brought the New Zealand here and what destroyed it? Could the SS New Zealand have reached this current location in space at its known speed?
Affirmative.
And when would that arrival time have been?
Approximately 87 years hence.
Hence?
Okay.
So it
Okay,
got here.
Surprise, 87 years ago, pardon.
Okay, I was going to say, damn.
So it's gone 25 years too far in space. So the question now, computer, Michelle,
Got blown up a long time ago.
is what happened to where it was supposed to go? What happened to? I mean, why didn't it go where it was supposed to go?
Automated sensors aboard the USS New Zealand were assigned to target selection at the most suitable planet along its trajectory.
Right.
Is it possible that it did not encounter a suitable planet?
Right. So it really didn't go 25 years too far. It just kept going. That's really what happened. Okay.
Well, at this point, I don't know if there's anything left to spend or whether I need to make some kind of analysis roll, but my intention is to ask the computer, what is the debris field consistent with in terms of type of destruction?
Oh, is it like a known pattern?
A known pattern.
Yeah.
That's
Well, I should say, computer, analyze debris field with all known patterns of blah, blah, blah.
collision with whatever, ship collision,
Debris field is
internal explosion.
consistent with collision with a relativistic velocity interstellar object.
Ooh. So it was hit by a meteorite or asteroid.
Vessels of the time lacked present-day deflector technology.
So the missiles fired at us weren't particularly fired at this SS New Zealand.
No, and I would assume they were just part of an automated defense system, but that's not how these people met their
Right.
demise. They hit a
Right.
rock.
So I guess we just update the Earth logs that we have found in New Zealand. We know its fate, and update records.
We need to scan this debris field, learn as much as we can of the actual residual technology left over from the ship, particularly if we can find the flight recorder black box. And also, I'd like impact with some at relativistic velocities. It'd be interesting to know what it crashed into. Maybe it was just an asteroid in their path, but I don't know. This deep in Cardassian space, one never knows. We should scan to see if there's remnants of other vessels. It's highly unlikely, but impact with a Cardassian vessel could have serious repercussions, even if this happened some time ago. So it'd be good to figure that out. And also, what else could be here? Because right now it sounds like our Cardassian defense system is guarding the wreckage itself. What do you think, gentlemen?
I think we need more data to confirm that hypothesis, but you may well be right. That certainly, we approached that debris when we were fired upon. So based on that data, I think you may be correct. But I'm just a doctor.
Yeah. All right. It makes sense. It makes sense.
Clearly just a doctor.
Just a doctor. It's not like studying viruses, bacteria.
This is funny.
And I'm sorry. Did the two missiles leave the system, or are they just
they're gone.
inactive?
They're gone.
They just
So you guys are
out.
in deep space. So
Yeah.
you're about 1 light year away from the nearest star system.
Might I suggest we fire? Either we send an unmanned shuttle back into that range and see if there's another response. If we can trigger the same response that we received, then we would know there is some automated defense mechanism or some sentry duty. Either a probe or an unmanned shuttle, and see if we can. Yeah,
It's probably wiser to start off with a probe.
So a probe then.
If those things come back, then
we'll know that it is odd, and then of course, right.
Yeah, but I'd rather not risk any human lives.
So first, before we do that, we should follow orders and scan this debris field and get all this data. Then we should probably launch a probe, just in case they blow it up and wreck our debris field.
I concur.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure a probe could
this might be a job for the scanning, I suppose, for an NPC and maybe the probe Asimov.
Well, so so you guys, I propose that idiomatically that maybe you guys walk out from the ready room.
I don't leave until I'm dismissed by the captain.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, so the captain stands up and let's go. Let's go about it, gentlemen.
Okay. So so we do have this other supporting character called Thompson, who I think.
Yeah, I've got his stats, by the way.
All right.
At least I've got the stats that I did from the quick. Of course, he's helm. He has helm op, ship, tactical ship, small craft. And then I've got his stats. I mean, his attributes and disciplines.
Okay.
I don't know if he's of any help with those particular focuses, but
no,
because he was a helmsman in our first game.
But you walk out onto the bridge, and And I imagine that Tenera is in fact over here, kind of looking at that Vulcan thirst for knowledge, and she turns and says, "Captain, this is curious. The debris field lacks any of the primary habitation section of the SS New Zealand."
Hmm.
Oh, that shouldn't happen, Captain.
Hmm. Um,
You know,
that is
Captain.
quite worrisome. Perhaps the Cardassians took them.
When the Enterprise encountered the Botany Bay, some of the habitation tubes were still active. They were not able to revive most of the crew, but several survived.
There might be residual power to at least have saved some of the colonists. I mean, presumably. We must at least proceed from that assumption. We must give them the benefit of the doubt. This could complicate the armistice negotiations severely if the Cardassians are holding Starfleet. Are holding human colonists, no matter how old the ship is.
Sir, I'm completing my scans now, and it appears that there's a low-grade ionic trail leading from this debris field to a nearby star system.
Oh. Huh.
There's only traces of it. It appears to be at least 50 years past.
At least that could coincide with the arrival time of the ship here.
Let's do a final sweep of the area, make sure we cover all the bases, and then I want us to follow this trail. Let's see about this planet it leads to. What do we know about that?
It's a Class L planet. From long-range scans, I can't make out anything more from this distance. It's a trinary star system, and the world is very far out from its primary.
Mm-hmm.
Several possible inhabitable worlds in the system, including readings. Oh, well, a closer one is in Class M, in fact.
Oh,
intriguing.
That's quite intriguing.
So I lean over to the doctor and you're trying not to let the captain hear me. So how well do you know your Federation history, Doctor?
Not as well as I should, unless we're talking about medical history.
Well, maybe you should look up some of it. It's possible if these people encounter the Cardassians, I'm not so sure we'd be rescuing them. We might be rescuing the Cardassians.
I will do that. I will investigate. In reference to what, Andorian? In reference to what, Asimov? What would I reference?
Look up the Botany Bay.
History.
Look up the Botany Bay. But not now. We have more pressing things to do.
I will do that. As a matter of fact, I might dismiss myself from the bridge.
Okay.
And maybe do that at some point off camera.
Yeah, that seems legit.
And then I can always use an NPC if you need me on the bridge, right? Okay. Captain, I'm going to do some research on these SS colonization ships. I will go to the sickbay to do that, Captain Santos, with your leave.
Yes, Mr. Took. Doctor, keep us advised. This is an ancient period in Earth history. We should know what to expect from these colonists.
Very good. I will. And on my way out the door, I'll give the Andorian a thumbs up.
Oh.
Maybe you're not a total waste. and I'll grab the handle of the turbo lift, and we get cue elevator music.
60s elevator music. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay, so I'm imagining that the scans are completed, and what do you guys get up to, kind of as the debris field analysis gets completed? It's kind of just a long difficulty 0 extended task. That takes about an hour or so.
I want to check up on the planet that the trail is leading us to. Like hoping maybe that it's the being an M-class planet, and
so the system
we actually a little bit of that.
So the system is not heavily surveyed and has only been passed over by a probe, because there's lots of space in Federation space.
Is this Federation space? Is this planet within Federation space? Is this within Cardassian space, or is it contested?
So this is an unfortunate. I don't know that I actually did a snip of the map. I don't think I did today.
That's okay.
Okay, so this is on the Federation side of the border, but it is inconveniently kind of just on the far side of this nebula. So there's just a small band of systems within Federation space under the proposed treaty line, and then it goes straight into Cardassian territory. And so there's this kind of long salient of Federation planets which are being protected on this far side of the Hugora Nebula, and that's the region that you're patrolling right now.
Okay.
Underneath a blanket. Great. Well, before we go out to this planet, while the captain is trying to research that, I want to set up some kind of automatic system in the ship to scan for any more Cardassian warheads, and like set up some kind of automated protocol to see whether the ship can actually fool them into thinking there's no power signature, and if that fails, to blast them.
Okay. So I imagine that using kind of the holodeck protocols and just a fair amount of computer power, since you've always got the engineering department advantage at your disposal, that should be an easy enough thing to do. And so it is just it's just a difficulty 1 task that'll just to kind of set it in motion, and then it'll return an answer once that's done.
And actually, after Ensign Asparagus says something to me, I realized that, or Saparagus, I suppose I should call him. Ensign Saparagus says something to me. I'm like, you know what? I don't want to blast them. If one comes close enough, I want to see if we can get it in a tractor beam, and hold it far enough away from the ship that if it blows, it won't harm the ship. But I want to see if we can take one back alive.
Okay.
You're familiar with that term, aren't you, Saparagus?
Yes, sir. I believe that we can create a protocol for the tractors systems so that it should so we should achieve maximum readiness for capture. That's absolutely possible, sir.
I wonder if we could draw one in. Well, never mind. I don't want to get the captain too upset. Perhaps on the way back.
Very good, sir. Thank you. So yeah, I imagine that. Yeah, why don't we that is an advantage, create advantage roll for the tractors, and we'll just roll it when it comes up. The work is already done. Essentially, it'll take 0 time.
Okay, I gotcha.
It seems like that's a fun way to find out whether it worked or not.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like when it really matters.
That's a really good technique. I do that sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah, I do that in my life all the time.
And we'll figure it out when it comes to it.
We call that crossing that bridge when we get to it.
Yeah.
I imagine that we kind of. So there's some life as usual time for Tuck, and you're talking to the computer about this Botany Bay stuff, and you learn a little bit more about the SS New Zealand during that time, and I'm just gonna embiggen this, yeah, so you can kind of you remark upon the special equipment that was carried aboard this particular vessel, and you start looking at this at the whole practice of these early colonization vessels.
It's got androids. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Androids.
Hyperponic seed vaults. 3. I can't quite read that. 3 corp. I don't know what that says behind the momentum there.
Wallace Corp androids. So
gotcha.
It's the name of the corporation that.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay, there we go.
Wallace Corp.
4 prehab modules, 700. Okay.
Cellular comm links, yeah.
The Wallace Yutani Corp?
The Wallace Yutani, maybe.
3 Wallace Corp. Okay.
I like the 700 cellular comm links. There's more comm links that people probably have.
No information as to how many actual people were on board here. There's Captain Walter.
Standard complement is about it should be about 270.
Okay.
And no one was over age 33 aboard the vessel.
Nice.
Okay.
And they need 3 cellular phones each, apparently, according to the cargo manifest.
And how many Sandmen were aboard that vessel? Only 33. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Oh, 33. That's a Logan's Run reference, right?
So
30.
I'm thinking that there's okay.
More importantly, from this information is what isn't here, and that is what their mission was. Would that be classified?
Not at all. Well, not at this point. I mean, it's hundreds of years later, and the Federation doesn't really believe in secrecy. What was their mission? They were just trying to get off of Earth. These are people who lived in an irradiated area following World War III. And as part of the reparations, they were offered an opportunity to make a new start.
Okay, gotcha. So they literally were escaping a dying area, right? So to speak, or a irradiated area.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
An area that would be decades before it was rehabilitated.
Okay. I want to cross-reference this just for time's sake with Botany Bay, so I know what Tech was alluding to. Because one of the reasons I'm here is I have no clue what he was talking about. So I would have wanted to cross-reference this so I know why Tech was hinting at it.
Okay, so
I have that information.
You now understand that there's these genetic augment supermen.
But now I know why he was worried about it.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
This is about 40 years after the Botany Bay was dispatched.
And I learn of Khan. And a Captain Kirk. Yes. Okay.
So there's lots of possibilities, essentially. Okay. There's lots of possibilities, and the possibility of Khan is the audience is now aware of.
Right.
Where do you guys, Captain Santos? How do you want to approach the system? I propose we start the system. Start a new scene as the New Orleans is approaching. Does that sound good? Start a new scene as you're arriving?
The Alexandria?
Mm-hmm. The Alexandria,
yeah. I thought for a minute there was another ship.
No, I keep calling it by its class name.
Yeah, by its class, yeah. Okay.
How's that? Is that more authentic? Are you like more
Yeah,
immersed?
That's pretty good.
That is pretty good, yeah.
mean, it's not hard to get a little face paint, blue face paint, especially.
I was going to say, they don't sell dealy boppers anymore. I could see. I always want to get little
dealy boppers. Is that the technical term?
little freaking
Dealy boppers.
Dealy boppers.
You guys gotta watch at least some Enterprise because they made these come to life and all kinds of fun stuff.
Oh gosh, that's funny.
Yeah, so they're even.
Anyhow,
I saw a couple of those episodes.
So
Okay.
I don't know how the size of this map comes off. That's the first. And are there any open questions about the debris field? Just ask them and let's get them answered so that we have clarity on that.
There was no Cardassian debris.
Nope.
Okay, and the
Cruise
trail
missiles
that
have
we're following
moved off.
the crew compartment is missing. The trail is about 50 years old. Was that correct?
It's at least 50 years old. Yes.
yeah, at least 50.
Yeah. What else? I think
So it clearly was not a victim of. That was the thing I think we wanted to know the most, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, there's this looming threat of the Cardassian missiles, and then there's also the possibility of Khan, which is an interesting prospect. So yeah,
I will.
Yeah.
At some point, I will. Whether we open the next scene with it, or I just give it. I will debrief. I will brief Captain Santos on what I've learned on the SS New Zealand.
So there's Tanera comes over the intercom, and Captain Santos is maybe having that recreation time that we talked about earlier in that episode. Yeah, so you were looking to go to the gymnasium, perhaps. I heard. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you head in there, and the interesting thing is that there's a boxing match going on. There's a really boisterous boxing match, which is in progress. And several of the engineering crew are kind of deep into it. And there's some people gathered around the ring, actually. Yeah. And things quiet down very quickly as you enter.
Is there like a boxing ring, or are they like in the middle of thing just going at it? I mean, are they
No.
wearing...
There's a dojo. Like the adjacent room is a dojo.
Yeah, so it's a legit thing. It's not like they're running illegal fights or something on the ship.
No. However,
just ask. Yeah.
It seems like during that sudden change, there's a momentary blip. There's a moment where something becomes hidden that was public, and yeah, what exactly that thing was it suddenly becomes hidden.
So it's two male crewmen or two females?
I imagine that someone who is as rough and ready as Kareth Race is, and I meant to just kind of get Starbuck into Starfleet uniform. For this character, but I ran out of time, and she looks like she's halfway through beating the crap out of this guy. Perhaps Ensign, what was his name again? Asparagus?
Asparagus.
Asparagus. I see.
Asparagus, yes. So that's a long story behind it. Okay. Yeah, long story behind that one.
Asparagus. Yeah.
Asparagus, yeah.
Yeah, I got it.
So yeah, and everything comes to an acute hush suddenly, as you walk in there.
So I'll say, no need to stop on my account, people. Carry on.
Okay.
Carry on.
All right. Well, the fight continues, and you notice. You might notice that there seems to be So someone is a little careless and something like about their discretion, and something changes hands among the people who are gathered around the ringside.
Uh, something changes hands. So yeah. Is there any way to determine if it's money passing hands?
Yeah, that would be a task. Yeah.
Okay.
But do you have the lobes?
So let's see. That would be security and insight.
That sounds right.
I keep on hearing those authentic, the original show, like the bridge noises. I know what they really are.
They're the frogs of
Okay.
Puerto Rico. Yeah.
Yeah, I know what they
That's
are. But they're
right,
great.
that's
That's
right,
great. That's
yeah.
great Star Trek ambience.
Yeah, I turned off the air conditioner. I was freezing, so now you can hear the frogs.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I don't even hear them. I'm not.
Yeah.
I have to consciously look for them, but
Yeah, it's Star Trek. Star Trek.
Did they have money in Star Trek?
So that's one of those open questions: do they have money?
Yeah,
And
I always thought it was kind of a utopian society where money wasn't.
Gold pressed Latin.
And that's and this is exactly what we're going to discover. Provided I believe that we were getting ready to do a task to kind of to take a look at this.
Gold pressed latinum.
Oh, doctor. Do you have much?
Sorry, Aloy's out for a moment here.
Yeah.
So
I'm a Star Trek original series guy, but I don't recognize that.
I'll give you a rundown with money. I think that there are lots of planets in the Federation in original series that clearly still have commerce.
Right.
They're not post scarcity, and in fact, I mean, Mudd is in the middle of being a
Right.
South African. I mean, when we meet
That's
him.
right.
The people aboard ship are clearly already like they're experiencing a post scare. They've arrived.
Right.
And it's more implied that it's sunk in, and they're totally relaxed, like about like money. Who needs that? Like by the time TNG rolls around, there's actually you recall the episode where they thaw out some people in season 1, and Data plays guitar with a country music guy. Picard's speech about money is my go-to about the answer to that. It's basically like there is money, but you don't need it. Like it's useless. You can get anything for free. The computer will buy the computer will apply for a grant for a shuttlecraft, and like half an hour later it'll be not that's a hyperbolic, but
Right.
Okay. So anyway. Was Captain Santos going to notice something? That's the question that was on our mind.
yeah. We said insight and security.
Yes.
And what's our momentum and threat pools?
The threat is 5, and the pool is empty.
Wow. So let's. I saw Jason's video this morning, drawing 1 momentum. I mean, I'm drawing one threat, so I'll add a 3rd die and see what happens here.
You're doing it wrong if you're rolling 2 dice, I tell you.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Player empowerment, baby.
Yeah. There we go. Two
You are doing
successes.
something wrong. This system is designed.
So, this is just going to be a straight oppose check. So let's
Mhm.
hit the dice. Okay. So it's also 2 successes. And in this case,
Tie goes to the defender. Or,
well, you know that
the
something's-
defender's them. The defender's them. So
yeah. Well, yeah. Something's going on. That's what I'll tell you, basically.
yeah.
It looks like a
All right. So I'm assuming there's some sort of gambling going on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna play it cool. It's
Okay.
there can't be. My train of thought is that one cramps down too hard and that sort of stuff, and a little bit. It's not gonna hurt. It's gonna help crew cohesion, and me cracking down on it. It's just gonna hurt morale.
Yeah.
Is my reason.
At this point, it's like,
Yeah.
well, people are gambling money. Okay.
Yeah, and again,
What is there
exactly.
to
It's like
lose?
what is the big deal? Yeah.
Um.
Uh,
So, how do you preoccupy yourself like what is your diversion? Your chosen diversion as a captain. This is just kind of a moment to kind of for the game and the camera to see
yeah.
it.
Yeah. Let's see. I think he does lifting, weight training,
Okay.
because he was born on Mars. I'm assuming he does that there were gravity plates on the settlements,
Yeah.
so they would keep maybe Earth level gravity, and Earth level gravity is standard on most human ships. So I'm thinking.
So I'm going to propose this value complication from your through hardship to the stars
Mhm.
value, which I think is the one that comes from Mars, no less. And
Yes.
I'm going to propose that you've broken a sweat. The trait is just you've broken a sweat. You're kind of a little bit worked up,
Mhm.
and there's some physical strain on you at the moment.
Okay.
Okay. And so
Yeah.
how do you feel about that complication?
Uh, sure.
Okay.
Sure.
And then you get a determination.
Yeah.
So
Makes
then,
perfect sense.
this guy, we montage that, and then
That's kind of backwards. In my business, I have to give them determination.
well, the camera sees the character being determined.
Let's hope none of my clients see this.
No, let's hope not. Yeah.
So, so Tanera comes over the intercom, and everybody hears this. She's standing watch, and she says, bridge to senior staff. We are arriving. We've completed our scans of the debris field, and we are arriving in the star system.
Uh,
I'm going up to the bridge.
Okay.
yeah. I'll say.
Acknowledged.
I'll say.
Mhm.
Begin. I'll in the intercom. I'll begin scanning the nearest planets. Keep a wide sensor spectrum and range. Make sure there are no more of those Cardassian missiles waiting on ambush. I'll be there as soon as I can. Santos out, and I'll proceed to the showers and quick shower and a fresh uniform and head off to the bridge as soon as possible.
Okay. So then, I imagine Asimov and maybe Tuck, you're there, and you kind of you there's enough consoles all over the place that you can kind of get a look at this at the rudimentary scans, and so you see that there's this Class L Mars-like world right here. There's a relatively high gravity Class M planet right here, very close into the system, and there's another Class L world right here, very small, and a frozen kind of super Terran right there, and those are the probably the planets that somebody could like make a go of, without kind of without it being completely difficult.
The first one you marked was Athens or
Therium.
Amis?
So that's the Class M is Therium.
Athens is the green,
Athens is
the nice
cleansed,
looking one right here.
That's the Class M. Okay, I missed that when I was clicking over. Okay.
Well, I know there's one thing to do: scan for life form,
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
specifically human life forms.
At this distance, that's not particular. That's not super possible.
We have to go one at a time. You got a Class M and a Class L, or
Yeah, I mean, what I will tell you is that of course, there's life on a Class M planet. Right here. Of course, there's life there. You also find evidence of some life here on Therium.
Okay.
Are those pings me? Is that me?
no? That's me.
Okay,
That's me.
okay.
I got a ping. See, it's like Took said. Yeah, there were pings, Captain. There were pings coming at us as Asimov rolled his eyes. Or blips. Damn, Doctor. Can't tell a blip from a ping.
Ping and a blip.
I'm not sure what a pancreas is, but you know. So it sounds. So we've got an L and we've got an M. It seems like the M would be the most likely place to check out first, but we can scan for human life forms specifically, can't we?
Under ideal conditions, yes. I'm imagining that you guys are like out here, like in the Pluto zone.
Right. Well, we have to actually get to a planet.
Yeah.
Are we able to follow a trail to either one of these planets?
It seems to get caught up in this far star, this star called Knossos. Actually, like the most of the debris that continued onward is in a close orbit around this star.
So that is the third star for the trinary.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Very
And
interesting.
is there anything orbiting that, like planet-wise, or is that like on its own trajectory around the other two?
Well, so the third star has this Therium planet, the Class L world, and
okay, I gotcha. Well, Captain, that seems like the most likely spot, not the most hospitable, but if they weren't under any kind of power, that's probably where they would have ended up.
And the evidence of debris seems to favor this area. Let's take a closer look. Mr. Thompson, bring us in.
Okay. So, you're kind of in a standoff high orbit, and from there you detect that there is in fact a colony dome which has been constructed on Therium.
Ooh.
Nice.
And there
I think we found our colonist, Captain.
There are life signs also.
Gentlemen.
Is Took on the bridge? Yeah, Took is.
I'm sorry. What did you say? I didn't hear you.
Are you? Sorry.
I concluded my research at the I don't say request, but thanks to Tech and his history, his knowledge, there was no relationship to Botany Bay, and it sounds like their mission, the SS New Zealand. However, there were 270 aboard, all of them younger than 33. They had been given this opportunity to relocate and colonize from an irradiated zone on Earth. So, but aboard, they did have, it sounds like, android technology. I did cross-reference this with Botany Bay. No indication that there were super soldiers or super humans among these, for those of you who know Khan. I don't know, Captain Santos, if you know that history.
Name seems familiar. Phoenix Wars. I don't recall much else.
Correct. So I do not know whether we'll be dealing with that. Irradiated area, I would assume no. But android technology
Android.
clearly in the manifest.
That seems to be a rather rare. Not much of that. I wasn't aware that back then Android technology was uh, a thing. Is that standard complement on all these?
Cross-referencing with Botany Bay, there was none there.
That is unusual.
It is very rare.
Yeah.
So I'm if there is a colony here, and if they I would assume at this age that we would be in the third generation
Yes.
of children.
Yeah.
Maybe
Let's see if we can
second or third generation of children of these original colonists, and we might be dealing with androids. So we might not pick those up in life science. We might have to change our scans to pick up a particular reading.
Captain.
That's a great idea, Mr. Asimov. Yes.
Would the Prime Directive apply here? They have been several generations removed from Earth. Earth is, of course, a warp society, but it was not a warp society when they left.
That is a wonderful point. I believe it's something of a gray area. Let's still try to determine what's going on. Are there really? There's a colony. Do we pick up life signs? Can we try to determine how many colonists there are down there?
I'll run a scan, Captain. I'm heading to a console and trying to scan for how many souls, if they're human life forms. What are we really looking at here? I love scanning for life forms.
And did he say that there's like high radiation here? Is that what he said at some point?
He just said they escaped an array, but yeah, I don't think he was referring to, but he might be. He might have said that about this. I was trying to look up what a Class L planet was in the rule book here. I couldn't find it.
It's like Mars-like.
Mars-like, okay.
And so I would like it if we could remark on it. We could end on something a little bit more exciting. But I mean, if people gotta go, people gotta go.
I'm ready.
Well, we're kind of looking for the want to kind of scan the habitat zone and see like how many people are actually there.
Okay, so there's a fair amount of kind of magnetic scattering because it's pretty close to this red dwarf primary, and so you're actually kind of inside of the star's magnetic field. And so it's flaring, and then there's a little bit of a solar flare. It's going through some activity right now.
I can reroute power through the main deflector to modulate the shields to compensate somewhat.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Using a constant velocity polarity shifting.
So you want to get a look at the colony dome?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll say, and I also say, Dr. Took, come over to the bridge if you have the time. We're trying to.
Yeah, I'm on the bridge. Actually, I came up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yep.
It's like Took. See if you can work with Asimov on this sensor sweep. I'm curious. This a planet so close to the magnetic sphere of the star. I wonder what that does to people. Maybe you can get some insight on.
Okay.
And my idea here is to maybe let that for some sort of helping dice with my team dynamics.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
and I have team dynamics.
I think what you guys you're trying to kind of get a better look at what's going on inside of the colony.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I might want to as assisting narratively, I might want to filter for what would be Android type. I might want to filter that to see if I can pick up Android.
Okay.
Signatures.
Okay. That sounds good. So I will just call it difficulty 2 from the kind of the several kind of complicating factors with these scans.
Right. And what are we calling the scan as far as
reason in science?
Yeah, in this case, I think that's appropriate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just from a standard angle.
Okay. Reason plus science. Huh. Well. Okay, not my best skill. It's a 50-50. Huh. I wonder if I could extend the range of the sensors.
Now I have just to interrupt. I'm not certain exactly how this. I have advisor talent, which could let him re-roll 1d20.
Yep, that is exactly. So looking over his shoulder and kind of looking at the
Yep.
the calibrations for these.
So you would have a chance to re-roll at least one of these two, Ivan, if.
Right. And I'm gonna maybe put a threat die in the pool and try to reroute some power from life support for just a few moments.
Okay.
Towards the sensors to buy us another die.
And my advisor would be to maybe help him filter out certain things out of the magnetic life sign readings easier.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So take another threat there. We'll see. So okay. So reason plus science, no complication range, and 3 dice, and find out what happens. Oh.
Now you can re-roll one of those, and then the ship itself. Do I roll the ship now?
Yeah. Which will be
Okay.
sensors and science. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't see the sensor in science. 10 was the roll. I think we did it. But...
You can. We can all access the character sheet for the Alexandria again. If you have like a couple of monitors, it's much easier because you can pop it out.
Oh, there
But-
it is. I didn't see that. Oh,
Yeah.
so cool. So cool.
Yeah. So you can
Okay,
actually
so what
do this
it
here.
is sensors and
And it's either science or
it is
medicine, I think. So
sensors
it's a
and
2
science.
anyway. Yeah, it's a 2 anyway. So, it's
So we got
11.
it.
Yes.
It was 9, 10. So I rolled a 10. We did get it. It's just I didn't do it through the character sheet. So we did get
Yes.
one there.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well, that's
we
2.
got 2.
Two.
And then you can re-roll one die 20 because of my advisor talent.
All right. Let's see what happens there.
Well, so
could
that was
possibly go wrong.
so we got a ship assist, but then we also
Mhm.
have a personal assist, the
Right.
advising component.
Nice. So we got 3 total.
And I think we haven't done the ship assist yet.
Yeah, I did. That was the.
I know, but then it
Oh.
sounds like Tuck is involved personally with
Yes.
assisting. Yeah. So and so that's actually a second. There's
So is there a second assist by
yes.
by Tuck?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Tuck rolls what?
It sounded like insight and medicine.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me go to my character sheet. Sorry if I had a big monitor. Okay, so insight and science. Let's see, no complication. I do have focus, I believe. Let's see here in team dynamics. Would that be my focus?
I think that will totally apply today. Yes.
Okay. All right, and the difficulty. I'm
just
rolling
one
one die.
die.
One die. There we go.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
So I think that we ended up with if
One,
I understand,
two,
1, 2,
three.
3,
4.
4. Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
So basic success. I think the core question was, is there like tell us about the life signs down? Like what kind of life signs are there?
Yeah, like how many, all that kind of good stuff. Yeah.
There's a significant amount of plant life. Your sensors are not picking up any humans.
Really?
Oh,
That's odd.
so maybe the humans didn't make it, but the android.
Why would the androids need plants?
Why would they need like a colony dome? Is that correct? It's a colony dome,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, there's a domed colony with like little houses and so on and so on.
We don't have momentum? Yeah, can I spend a momentum, or would that be Tech since he made the roll? Would he have to spend the momentum?
It's his task, yeah. So generally,
Okay.
He'd be asking the questions.
Okay. Okay.
I'm gonna. Are the plant life that's down there? Would that all be consistent with the plants that were aboard the ship? on the manifest? Earth plants, all that kind of stuff.
You know,
Is it consistent with Earth DNA and all that?
yes, I will say that. Yeah, it's definitely it's Earth-based plant life. In
That was
fact,
exactly the question. That was exactly the question.
I will tell you that yeah, there's some unique kind of signatures, some unique fingerprints as far as the branching patterns of the trees and so on. That just
Right.
from an orbital, just from looking at it from this distance, you can totally make that out.
Can we squeeze a little more power? I want to see if there's anything consistent with remains of humans.
There's a graveyard.
There's a graveyard.
There's a graveyard just outside of the dome.
Doctor, you remember those missiles we encountered?
Yep.
They were unmanned, and they were programmed to do one thing.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to bet the same thing's going down on the planet's surface?
You mean a defensive network?
No. What was aboard the New Zealand?
Oh, androids.
Programmed to do one thing.
Mm-hmm.
I
Well,
don't like this.
I don't either.
Question is, what happened to the humans?
Well, I should also mention that
Well, there's a graveyard, so they're buried clearly.
the dome is the dome is it's filled up with all kind. Like you can make out proper looking nice little houses which date to kind of the pre-Third World War. They look like our contemporary houses in our contemporary life, and there's little streets and there's stuff going on. Not movement, but there's like a little there's like a soda fountain with a neon sign, and there's a car parked. There's just very strangely there's a vintage automobile which seems to be parked on the street, and stuff of that nature.
No life forms. However, there's a cemetery. So either androids are living like human beings and we're not picking them up on our scanners, or they're all dead. And this is what's left.
How do you feel like taking a shuttle down to the planet's surface, Doctor?
Mm-hmm.
I'm flying this time.
Yes.
You guys and your shuttles.
Yeah.
Unless the captain orders us to do otherwise.
Right, exactly. Now,
the question is, I'll say, all means.
does the Prime Directive? I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
We need to send an away. We should send an away team to determine what's going on. If there's no life signs and all we're dealing with are androids, and I don't think the Prime Directive applies.
Okay, because an antenna, blue-skinned antennae and a Tellarite might shock the hell out of some.
We need some security. We should take Ensign Jose with us too.
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
I love it.
Okay. So
I hope he has a big blaster.
So you're gonna create a supporting security guy. That sounds like
With a blaster.
Yeah, big.
With a hand cannon.
Type 3 phaser.
There is a legitimate case to be made that given the particle scattering field, that maybe going down in a shuttle makes more sense.
It's much safer.
You're also
I can
very
tell you that.
close
Oh
to
yeah,
the
I'm not taking a
Cardassian border.
transporter.
Yeah, and there's and there's this looming threat of that hostilities with the Cardassians could get hot again.
I suggest we at least take Type 2 phasers with us.
Oh, of course, it's just standard. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's take a look at this. Well, let's get rid of this transporter room. This is something which I think I'm going to actually start asking people about. Is like idiomatically, the transporter is such a big part of Star Trek. Like they always be doing things with shuttles, and yet, you know what I'm saying?
We're just scared of the transporter.
I
man.
don't. Well, I don't think
Yeah.
you guys are unique though. Like I think that there's sort of like this. Why don't we take this piece of equipment that has a ship assist with us all day, every day? It occurs to me. Do you guys want to beam down outside the dome or inside the dome?
Beam down. Oh god.
Oh, sorry. You're landing. Pardon.
Yeah,
Uh,
that renders that moot, right? It's like
Um, well, obviously, now can we pass through the dome, or is it the kind of dome we would crash
You'd have
through?
to find an airlock.
Yeah. Okay. Um.
Go out in standard EVA suits. Take a shuttle.
Mm-hmm.
You want to transport down there to find out they have no atmosphere. Not to mention that your insides are on your outside.
Well, there's definitely a breathable atmosphere inside of the dome. I will just say that.
Yeah, but if it becomes necessary to go outside the dome, I'd like to have some options.
And I don't like the idea of beaming down in highly magnetic interference. Yeah.
you know
Let's
what?
fly.
The security guy's a good idea. Maybe we should send the ship's counselor to establish some sort of
Oh, I like that. Okay. So this is
diplomacy, or if there to be some.
second invocation of Kalos Dutrax, so he will get an advancement. In fact.
Nice.
That's a great, Doctor. We're going to talk to the robots about their feelings.
Okay. So, as the shuttle begins to swoop low over the colony, something unexpected. There's a phaser in place. There's a phaser turret or a laser. It's probably just a primitive laser. As a matter of fact, but it's nevertheless it gets you jittery. And it's tracking the shuttlecraft as you're passing closer, and your console does blip as it's tracking, and then just as soon as that happens, it relaxes, and you see that the target lock is released, and the little camera eye, the little shutter of the laser emitter closes back up, and the defense retracts back down into the earth underneath of a camouflage shield.
That's Doctor.
Yes.
I wonder what convinced them that we were okay.
Hopefully, the fact that there are life signs on board the vessel.
Doesn't sound very
Our
reassuring.
vessel, I mean. Hopefully they've been programmed not to kill.
Yes. and I bring it. Well, I'm trying to bring the vessel in smoothly for a landing, but
There's no obstacle to a smooth landing. I'll just say that.
yeah, just kind of I as I land the vessel incredibly smoothly sideways. So I kind of raise my eyebrows up. Sure.
Okay.
This is how it's done.
So, you find your way. So yeah. I mean, do you want to try and just land by what looks to there's an opening in the dome, like
yeah, pretty close.
Okay.
Put on some nice EVA suits and then go out and.
Okay. So there's Took, there's Ensign Jose, security. There's Asimov, and then there's Kalos Dutrax.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And okay, so you're all in EVA suits, and the ramp comes down, and it's very quiet. It's locally, it's getting towards evening locally, and there's the airlock.
Oh. Doing those scan. I get the tricorder out, scanning everything.
Okay. You okay. So you scan around and there's no life forms. The airlock appears to be functional. It has, but there's some kind of rudimentary elements of its design, and it seems. It seems like even the Earth of the era of this time should know better than this thing. This is like Soviet level of it's very vintage. Let's put it that way.
So I start turning the wheel. So open up the door.
So it shudders. It kind of and it's groaning and shuddering, and then it gives sorry, go ahead.
Excuse me. It's very old, but is it well maintained?
No.
Or is it neglected and rusted and
No, it's neither. It's brand new. It's never been used.
Makes sense.
Okay. So you guys get inside, and there is a mechanical lever to cycle the airlock.
Right.
Okay, so there's the hissing of the gases, and then there's a little mechanical shutter that goes from a green card behind a little piece of glass, like from a red card to a green card, like,
Right.
okay.
Safe, unsafe.
Yeah. And then there's the
scan the atmosphere, and then as long as it sounds good.
Perfect ratio, Earth-like oxygen, nitrogen atmosphere.
Taking the hell off.
Okay.
Doctor, revive me if I turn well. Think.
Count on it. Count on it.
Okay. So you open the door.
That's the one thing I do.
And you're looking down an idyllic street from 20th century Earth. There's sort of recreations of houses from 20th century Earth, and you're looking down the street, and it's just empty. Everything is immaculate.
Well, I'll tell you, man, I've got my tricorder and the cigarette lighter. Look.
It looks as though Dutrex, see if you concur. It looks as though they've built this awaiting us to show up.
That is.
Does it look as if people had been here, or as if it's waiting to be occupied?
Yes. It doesn't make any sense with what we know. If these people arrived here years and years ago,
But if the androids were all that were alive when the ship was destroyed, they might have been programmed to build the colony, regardless of whether the humans were there or not.
But why now?
They've had 50 years or more.
Well,
I've got a bad feeling about this.
Why now? Why activate now and make this thing? Or is this old? I mean, it's not old. It's never been used. So we can't really tell if they just built it today or it's been there in pristine
It would take a
condition for
task.
50 years.
It would take a task.
And how far are we from the cemetery? You had said.
So the cemetery is
Scans.
outside the dome, and it's kind of about a kilometer from the shuttlecraft.
Okay, because
So
if there are
maybe-
bodies in the cemetery, that will answer.
Well, if there's a cemetery with bodies, then it would stand to reason that are following their last programming create a hospitable place for the human population.
I might call out
Echoes.
echoes.
Yeah.
No response.
I'm analyzing to see when this might have been built.
Yeah, it's a detailed analysis with the tricorder will be difficulty 1.
Yep.
Alrighty, great. Well, in that case, I guess we're going to call this reason plus science, or what are we calling this? Insight plus science? Yeah, okay. Reason plus science. I'm not going to spend anything on this. I'm just going to go ahead and do a little standard roll here. Okay.
Oh my. Okay. So it is consistent with having been here about 80 years. But you look at it a little closer, and it looks like it's more like it's been built in the last 40 years. In fact, in the last 25, it's been built over time, starting at about 40 years ago.
So it's different time scales.
It's
Gotcha.
It's been built over time.
So the pavement of the streets would be the oldest. Maybe the cars, the houses would be the youngest.
Yeah. The houses were built over time as well.
Okay.
This appears to be a work in progress, Doctor.
Yep. I might just walk up through one of these white picket fence gates and up to the front door of one of these homes, and check if it's locked and maybe go in.
It's unlocked.
Okay. And I'll push the door open and peek in.
And here's the foyer.
Oh, you actually have maps? I'm sorry, I'm on the the people screen.
Sorry.
Oh, nice. Okay.
There it is. I was loading. Sorry.
Wow, so it's a big place, huh?
It's a fancy house. Yes.
Nice. Okay.
Nice.
Still no evidence that people have been here.
This place looks lived in. I mean, there's a very charming portrait of a family just to your right.
Nice. Okay. Yes. Asimov, Dutrix. Take a look here. This.
Oh, this is interesting.
There's evidence that somebody has indeed lived here, or it is a facsimile that is. But that would then beg.
Uncanny.
Yeah, that would then beg the question: why would you make such an accurate simulator or facsimile?
Somebody or something.
It would speak as to the nature of the androgram. This is indeed what they're following, and also speaks to their nature, dedication, strict adherence to last given commands, in spite of evidence that there is no further need for it. If indeed what happened here was that the colonists died and they died off, why stick to completing this programming? It's one possibility. It could be other things, but
they might not have any other option. This might be all they know.
Is there any? I would like to make a tricorder scan and look for a power source, and let's use an obvious power source we flew in, like satellite dishes, or not satellites.
Yeah.
A
reactor.
Thank you. My brain. I think we're all tired.
Well,
yeah. So I would love to make a scan and see if I can pick up a power source if I didn't see one.
So you actually you're able to now find a reactor at the center of town.
Okay.
And I mean we can call it here. I think we have the Vulcan eyebrow raised.
Inside the scary house.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
With
you
the
guys,
imminent dungeon crawl inside the dome.
you guys are in the foyer.
Yeah.
And no, as a matter of fact, the power source is down the street. It's
Right.
this building right here.
Uh huh. I would have called the church myself, but okay, right on. No, this is as good of a cliffhanger as any.
Yeah.
This is pretty spooky.
This looks like Springfield, maybe Simpson.
It is. These are borrowed things from a Facebook garbage game featuring
Nice.
Simpsons IP.
Oh, is that right? Oh, I literally was kidding. Okay,
That's
cool.
awesome.
Cool.
Springfield, that's fantastic.
Yeah, Springfield.
Nice.
No, this is a good. Yeah, I'm next because this is pretty cool.
So yeah, this is my experiment in being a little bit more organic with
Sure.
rather than kind of letting it, just.
Well, this is
jabbing
taking
it
on
down here.
an original series feel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's
Yeah,
all
I
right.
mean,
Oh,
you beat
yes.
down in 1950s neighborhood,
Oh, that's total.
Yeah,
That's what I was thinking the whole time. Once the censors said that we were this little idyllic town, I'm like, oh my god, this is
Yeah,
totally.
This is straight out of 1967, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm totally digging it.
Yeah, that's my Star Trek right there.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
well.
Sweet.
I'm happy to hear it.